I am going to take a moment to go through the printing tutorial. You will want to read it much more carefully than I will go through now to highlight. It's just chock full of information. First question is, do I have to print? You absolutely do not have to print. This fits in, of course, to everybody's budget. Some people will just share their layouts online. You can email them. You can put them on discs, flip books on discs, and share that with your family. You can give them as gifts. You can put them into a slideshow to view on the television. That's great for family gatherings. Certainly do not have to print, and of course this is great for those people who cannot afford all those expensive traditional scrapbooking supplies. It's a great option. What size do I make my layout for printing? This is so important. This is why you need to read this tutorial and understand all about printing before you even make your first page, because because what size page you decide to make will determine what size file that you will make for your layout. Now, it seems like the 12 by 12 is the most popular, but home printers do not print that wide, and so generally what people will do will be to create in 12 by 12 and then reduce them to 8 by 8 for printing. Those little 8 by 8 books are really great for little lap books. They fit right into your lap, and people really like how they feel. People ask, why do we make them in 12 by 12 and then reduce them to 8 by 8? You could create it in 8 by 8 originally, but I believe why most people make them in 12 by 12 is that you can always downsize a file without losing quality, but you cannot upsize it. If you make an 8 by 8 and then later on 20 years down the road decide that you want to take those pages and make it a 12 by 12 book, you will lose quality. Also, all of the kits and papers and elements are scaled to 12 by 12, and that sometimes makes it easier than having to resize all the elements when you bring them into your layouts. Regular letter size paper is certainly another option. It's what I chose to scrap in the minority, but I like to print at home, and I also like the option of being able to turn my paper from landscape to portrait. It gives me more variety and choices. And I've given you here some cost samples of my printing at home. Cost a little over $1 a page, and it's immediate results, and I love printing them out and having the boys and all my men see them immediately and get feedback from them. It keeps me motivated to scrap more. Some people do scrap in 8 by 10, which is also a rectangular size. Also very doable. Another reason to do it in letter size, which is a rectangular page rather than a square page, is that you will waste less of that paper, because the 8 by 8s, if you would print that at home, are also going to be printed on the same letter size paper, and then you would have to cut that expensive paper off to put it in your book, and I just can't justify the cost of throwing that paper away that I'd have to cut off. But I'm in the minority. What paper do I print on? This is very, very important. Some people are adamant that you only use the professional services. because of the lasting value of the prints. I done some investigation and into photo paper, and I did learn that it is best, if you're going to be printing at home, to buy the more expensive paper. You'll want to look on the back side of the box before you buy it for the words fade resistance. Find the papers that have the highest fade resistance. If you would print your layouts on regular paper, it would be not very long at all before the colors would begin fading. HP, who I purchased my papers from, on the back of their box, they have a chart, and they do indicate that their fade resistance will last up to 75 years. And I figured by that time I'm not going to be around anymore, and my papers are going to have been lasted, and there'll be new technology by then, and my grandchildren will be doing something different with all the JPEGs that I have created. So that was my choice to go ahead and print at home. But as I said, there are many that are adamant that you use professional services only, that's better. But I feel the printing companies have stepped up, and the technology has stepped up to home printing. There is new photo paper on the market for 12 by 12. There are more and more home printers that will print 12 by 12. However, they are very expensive, and the photo paper is very expensive. But it does seem that the industry, the printers industry, is responding to our need to want to print 12 by 12. It is very important to always use the same ink as your printer. Those are scientifically created to work together the best, in order to last as long as those claims on the back of the box. This Helm Research.com is a wonderful place if you really want to get into reading more about printer inks and how long the things last. And I have provided a lot of links here for you to read more. What about places that print professionally? There are a lot of them out there at various costs. It seems when I wrote this tutorial, many people used Costco, but you'll have to just go out there and compare prices to choose where you want to print. You might want to print locally. Excuse me. Because you can run out and take your discs in and pick them up and maybe have a faster turnaround to getting them back to you. However, there are a lot of places online also that you can order. I did order once from this Fotke.com. I like Fotke. And my prints came fast and quickly. Shutterfly is a very popular place, especially for their books. However, if you're going to be using their services for their books, if you catch them on a discount, you can get them down as low as that $1 per page that you can print at home, and the books are just excellent. However, you'll have to be careful. Do not put your journaling and your elements right up to the edge of your layouts if you're going to be using these online book services, because they will crop off your pages and important information at times. But there are quite a few other, Kodak, Snapfish, Winkflash. These are all common names that I've heard people use quite a bit. and so you would just have to investigate for yourself.